Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. If you're like me, you love to give gifts. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm always looking for new and fun gift ideas that are also budget friendly. And I believe these check all the boxes. Gifts in a jar. They are so fun to make and can be personalized for anyone and any occasion. And I have so many great ideas for what you can put on the inside and the outside. So let's head on over to the craft table and we will get started. What I really love about these mason jar gifts is that you can make them as simple or as elaborate as you want. Everything from a basic candy jar to a spa in a jar. How about this lovely little terrarium? This might look a little complicated, but I will show you exactly how to put it all together and to keep it alive. We're also going to make some cool labels and tags to put on our jars. I've included a bunch of different shapes and sizes and designs so everything can be super personalized, which you know I love. So let's take a look at the supplies we need for this project. Of course, we need mason jars. I'm using a few different sizes and I'll explain exactly how to make a label just right for any size jar. So don't worry about that. Now we'll create the labels using Cricut Writable Smart Vinyl, both permanent and removable. This is my go-to for making labels on my Cricut cutting machine. And I make a lot of labels. If you've never tried it, I think you're really going to like it. It's super versatile. We'll make the tags for our jars with cardstock and we'll use both glitter and opaque pens to add designs and text to both. And I'm going to share one super important thing to keep in mind when using Cricut pens that will save you time and materials. You'll want to be sure to stick around for that tip. Of course, we need our Cricut cutting machine. I'm going to cut these labels and tags on my Cricut Maker 3, but you could also use the original Maker, any Cricut Explorer, or the Cricut Joy. You can make everything using the standard fine point blade that comes with your Cricut, a green standard grip mat, and a brayer. A pair of scissors are handy as well. A hole punch will also come in useful, and don't forget the decorations. I have washi tape and twine right over here, and all the things that you can put inside, which I'll show you in the video. Now let's go find the free design files and we'll get crafting. Step 1, get my free mason jar gift label files. Go to jennifermaker.com/448 and look for libraries in the red bar at the top. Then either click Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. You can find the designs on the page by searching the page for design number 448 and then click it to download the zip file. You can cut the printable PDF by hand, but I'll show you how to cut the shapes and draw the designs with a Cricut cutting machine, which is a lot faster. Upload the SVG file and add it to your canvas in Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to do this, go to jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how to unzip and upload files. I'm also using my two fonts for this project, JM Penwriting and JM Tall. They're both in my free resource library. They're in design number 437. However, feel free to use your favorite font. If you'd like to use mine, you'll need to install the fonts on your computer and make sure they work in Cricut Design Space before starting the project. If you aren't sure how to do that, I have a helpful blog post that will guide you through the steps. You can find it at jennifermaker.com/fonts. Keep in mind, once you've installed the fonts on your computer, you'll then need to open or reload Cricut Design Space in order to access them. Step 2. Prepare your mason jar gift label designs. Here's what the collection looks like on my canvas in Cricut Design Space. You can zoom out to see all of the options by clicking on the minus sign on the lower left. I've included all of the designs in one file for you to mix and match. There are 5 different shaped labels on the left and 8 designs on the right. I'll show you how to combine shapes and phrases and customize them to make 2 labels. You can follow the steps to make as many combinations as you like, and everything can be resized to your needs. For most of my labels, I use the removable Cricut Writable Smart Vinyl. It's great for making sure the label is placed just right. I found that the permanent Cricut writable smart vinyl sticks to washi tape better than the removable, so I'll show you how to layer them. There really isn't a difference between the two vinyls when it comes to how the pen writes on them, so use the one that works the best for you. I'm going to make two versions, a permanent white label for my jar full of happy and a removable black gift label for a good vibes jar. First, ungroup the designs. Hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and click the elements you don't want to use and delete them. I'm going to delete everything except the scalloped edge circle and rainbow for the happy jar, and the circle shape and the starburst designs for the good vibes jar. Place the elements you'll combine closer together, and let's work on the happy label first. The scallop measures 2.5 inches wide by 2.42 inches tall. This is a good size to use on the side of a 15-ounce food storage jar. If you're using a different size jar and need to adjust the size, make sure the lock icon is closed in the size menu at the top to maintain proportions before making any changes. Then either enter a new size in those boxes or click and drag on the corner of the bounding box to resize. Remember, you can always click the back arrow on the top left to undo any changes. Now let's customize our first label. Drag the rainbow over to the scalloped label so it is roughly centered but in the upper half of the shape. To add a message, click on Text and then click on the Font menu. Since we want to use a Cricut pen to write on the labels, we need to change the font to one with a writing style, which means it uses one line at a time. I'm going to use my own typeface called JM Tall, so at the top of the font menu, click System and search for JM, and then select JM Tall. Double-click the word text and add your personalization. I'll type the gift's theme, jar full of happy. Press Enter to start a new line, then type for Alexa. You can type whomever you'd like to give this to. In the Operation menu, change Basic Cut to Pen. This also shows you what the message will look like. Click on the box next to Operation menu to change the pen to GG Glitter Gel 0.8 millimeters in black. To change the size of the text, you can drag one corner of the bounding box to resize it or type in a new number in the font size field in the top menu. I found that 28 worked really well. If the lines are too far apart, click on Line Space and type -3 to change the space between the lines of text. Feel free to tinker with these settings to get your desired look. Select the rainbow, then change its operation to pen and set it to the same black glitter gel pen too. Drag a box over the 3 label elements, then click Align and center horizontally. With those still selected, click Attach below the Layers panel so they will all be cut and drawn together. Now let's personalize our second label. The Good Vibes label, which we'll make using the circle shape and the starburst design. I'm going to make this a black label, so I'll select the circle shape and change it in the color box. Select the starburst layer in the Layers panel, then change the operation to Pen, and change the color box to G-Gel 1 millimeter, and the color should be Yellow Opaque. To add personalization, click on Text and then click on the Font menu. I'm going to use my own typeface called JM Penwriting, which is based on my own handwriting. At the top of the Font menu, click System and search for JM. If your previous search is still in there, just click the X to clear it out, then select JM Penwriting. Double-click the word text and add your personalization. I'll type Good Vibes and then hit Enter to move to the next line and then add for Alexa. Again, use whatever name you want. I want to write this in white pen, but that's hard to see on the canvas, so drag the text over the black circle for better contrast. In the Operation menu, change Basic Cut to Pen to tell your Cricut to write it. This also shows you what the message will look like in pen. Then click on the box next to the Operation menu to change the pen to G-Gel 1 millimeter and Blue Opaque. To change the size of the text, make sure that it is selected and using the font size menu and change the size. I found that a size 16 worked really well. Click on line space and type 1 to change the space between the lines of text if needed. Select the starburst, text, and circle shape. Use the Align menu to select Center. Click Attach to keep everything together during drawing and cutting. Step 3. Create the labels. Check that the right machine is listed in the top corner and then click Make It. Make sure your labels look correct and then click Continue. I will use the white permanent Cricut writable smart vinyl for my jar full of happy, which is my first mat. Set the base material to Smart Label Writable Vinyl and the pressure to default. Before loading your pen, scribble on a piece of paper or vinyl to get the ink flowing. Here's a tip that might help. I stuck a small piece of removable vinyl on my Cricut to remind me to test pens. Place the pen in the clamp and put the cap on the top to avoid losing it. Make sure the blade is clean and loaded correctly before continuing. If you run into any issues cleaning your materials, check out my Cricut tips and tricks for cleaner cuts at jennifermaker.com/blades. Even though it doesn't require a mat, I had the best results by cutting a piece of Cricut writable smart vinyl near the size of my label instead of cutting the whole piece. Cut your material to size and place it face up on a green standard grip machine mat, checking that it will cover the design area shown on the screen. Then use your brayer to adhere it well. The pens can take a bit to dry, so we'll need to plan ahead to avoid smudges. To keep the star wheels from smearing your lines, move them to the right so they don't run over the wet ink. Load your machine mat and click the flashing button to begin. The Cricut will draw your designs first, then cut the label shape. If you're using two pens like my second label, the Cricut will tell you which one you should load first. Run that section and then pause and prompt you to swap in the next color. When the cut is complete, unload the mat, but be careful not to touch your vinyl as the ink is still wet. To get the vinyl off without smearing your ink, flip your mat over onto your work surface without letting the vinyl touch it. Then lift up the edge of your vinyl and peel the mat away from your vinyl without touching the ink. Set the label aside so the ink can dry fully before you work with it. Place your black label material on the mat, change your pen, and create the second design. Keep in mind the Cricut treats pen lines as simple lines, so the ink won't blend together to fill in spaces. This is more noticeable on the black label, but it's still really pretty. If you prefer a smoother look, you can use the same color pen to fill in the shapes a bit by hand. You can also fill in the rainbow's arches by hand. Step 4. Assemble your mason jar gifts. Once the labels are totally dry, you can work with them like stickers since they're just simple shapes. The inks are water soluble, so they could still smear if you get water on them, so be careful. To apply a label on a lid, hold the label taut on both sides and place it on top. To put one on the jar, lay the item on its side before placing the label. If you're using removable vinyl and don't like the placement, gently peel it off and try again. There are so many ways to make a cute mason jar gift. I will give you a couple of recipes to start with, but the possibilities are endless. I filled this jar with all sorts of cuteness. I found all of these cute kawaii-themed items at Five Below, but you could also get similar things at the dollar store or on Amazon. I wrapped my jar with rainbow washi tape and applied the permanent label on top of it. To apply washi tape around the jar, first decide how far down from the lid you want the decorations to start. I chose 2.5 inches. Cut 4 pieces of scrap washi tape to that size. Place 1 piece of cut washi tape at the base of the lid and smooth it straight down the side. Do this on all 4 sides of the jar. Next, take the washi tape you want to put on the mason jar. Place the edge of the decorative tape up perpendicular to the bottom of a vertical washi tape piece. Smooth the tape around the jar, keeping it even, but making the top edge touch the bottoms of the vertical alignment pieces. Add several more wraps if you like, keeping them straight by matching with the lower edge of the previous piece. Remove the alignment pieces afterward. Add the label on top of the washi stripes. You might be able to cover the seams, but if not, put the seam in the back. Place all the items in the jar. I started by putting the s'mores plush in first, the big thing, and then added everything else around that. Of course, you may have different goodies to add, so put it together however you like. That's the fun of it. I just love how it turned out, and I know Alexa is going to love this. I found all of these goodies for the Good Vibes jar at the Dollar Tree, and I used a 15-ounce food storage jar. I filled it with things to make you feel good. Because I wanted the lights to shine, I placed the label on the lid for this gift jar. I also used glitter washi tape around the edge of the lid. I wrapped the battery pack in the socks to hide it. Make sure to place the pack so that the light switch is facing up in the jar so you can reach it. So what do you think so far? I'd love to hear what other goodies you would add to this jar. This is a cute idea for a quick gift. Fill a 15-ounce food storage jar with candy. You can decorate it with washi tape if you'd like. Add your label, and you are done. Need a gift for someone who loves to bake? I found all of these baking items at Michael's Craft Store, but you could get them nearly anywhere. For the label, I combined the circle shape and flower design and added a personalization using my JM Tall font. I used the glitter gel pens and cut it out of the white removable label vinyl. Using a tall 32-ounce food storage jar, I wrapped washi tape around the top and bottom and placed the label in the middle. And here's a good tip. Do you have small scraps of cardstock laying around? Use them as pretty packing material. Using scissors or a paper shredder, cut your scrap paper into smaller pieces. You can place it as padding at the bottom of a glass jar. After placing the scrap paper on the bottom, I stacked the sprinkle jars, followed by the markers and tools. Then I filled in the open spaces with everything else. Okay, now I want some cookies. Another fun idea is a nail spa in a jar. These items were all found at the Dollar Tree. For this label, I combined the circle shape, dotted circle, and the Just For You banner in Design Space. You can add nail spa and Cricut Sands if you'd like to personalize the label. I used black removable vinyl and opaque gel pens for this label. I wanted to keep this simple, so I just eyeballed the center of the jar and placed the label like a sticker. I also used a decorative bamboo lid that fits the wide mouth mason jars. Fill the bottom of the jar with the glitter vase filler, then place the taller items: lotion, lip balm, cuticle tool, and bath bombs. Fill in the open spaces with the smaller items. This is a cute little terrarium that you can give to your favorite gardener. For this label, I combined the horizontal shape with the leaf vines and personalized it with the JM Tall font. I created the label with white removable vinyl and used the glitter gel pens. After the label was finished, I colored the leaves in by hand. Place the label in the lower third of the jar so it won't block any of the growing area. Place these ingredients in the jar in the order that they're listed: 2/3 a cup of pea gravel, a thin layer of potting soil, 1/4 cup of activated charcoal, 1.5 cups of potting soil, frog moss, be sure to follow the package directions to activate the moss first, and decorations. So which one of these jars is your favorite? I honestly can't decide. I think they are all so fun. Tell me your favorites in the comments, and I really hope this project inspires you to make your own gift in a jar. There are so many ways that you could do this. Now, if you have any questions about how to make labels that won't smudge with a Cricut that I didn't answer in this tutorial, or anything else about making these jars or gifts or anything that I can help you with, let me know. Just leave your question below this video or ask over at our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/Cricut Crafters. And be sure to share photos of your finished jars with me. I love to see what you make. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.